morning and welcome to Politically Incorrect with Manishankar Iyer and Shapan Das Gupta. Well, this week, the budget season was flagged off with the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council releasing its review of the economy, projecting, perhaps rather optimistically, that the economy will grow at 7% this year and 7.5 to 8% in the year after that. But just how credible are these or any other numbers, given that all estimates in the last year have been hopelessly off the mark? In fact, the latest GDP figures just released show the weakest pace of growth in 2 years at just about 6%. Well, lower tax revenues and higher than expected subsidies have further widened the gap between what the government earns and what it spends. The question we're asking tonight is, can the union budget, to be presented in just about a fortnight from now, still be a game changer for the UPA? You can tweet us at NDTV at the hashtag PI to your comment. You can also participate in our SMS poll. Manishankar Iyer, let me begin with you straight away. Is the union budget the last best hope for the UPA to turn things around before the big general elections, now less than 2 years away?
Yes, I think the budget could be a game changer if the budget is used not for the economy, but for the people of India. In the last year, that is the current financial year, the tax revenues foregone by this government, in terms of lowering income tax, removing other direct taxes, reducing customs duties, generally helping the rich of this country, the revenues foregone amounted to over 5 lakh crore rupees. And if you add it up over the last 3 or 4 years, it comes to about 21 lakh crore rupees have been foregone by the government in order to keep the economy boosted. Now, since the beneficiaries of the economy are by and large a small number of Indians compared to the very large number of Indians who depend upon budget, social sector and anti-poverty expenditures, please recognize that this year's 5 lakh crore rupees is double the total subsidy that comes from the petroleum subsidies, that comes from the National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, and that would come from increasing the food subsidy from its present level of about 67,000 crore rupees to about 80,000 crore rupees. You put all of these together, it's half of the money that we have foregone. So we have to decide for ourselves that given that the GDP growth is really being pushed by the biggest beneficiaries of GDP growth, which is the corporate sector, do we want to continue enabling the rich of India with government subsidies, because that's what it amounts to grow even faster, or whether we should take a break from looking at merely the GDP growth rate and getting very concerned as to whether it's 8% or 7% or 5.9%, and say, what about half our children who are malnourished, 17% of our children who are severely malnourished, of a country in which we have about the world's highest rates of infant mortality, of maternal mortality, and where our spending on health was down to 0.42% of GDP this year, as compared to a few years ago, nearly 0.59%, but where 6% of GDP is spent on health costs, mostly by the poorest of the poor, because they just do not have adequate health facilities at their level. So I think if we want a game changer, it's not in terms of whether we go from 6 to 7 to 8%, but whether the people of India will heave a huge sigh of relief after Pranab Mukherjee presents his budget.
The NDTV news app had redefined the entire genre. Now, another market beater. It's already hit #1.
NDTV Profit, India's #1 finance app. Download free at ndtvprofit.com/apps. Live stream of NDTV Profit, market news and your easy-to-manage portfolio. Download now, ndtvprofit.com/apps.